Welcome to Pioneer, the podcast series for serious innovators, brought to you by Wrays. Here, we talk to innovative entrepreneurs, CEOs, scientists and policymakers about innovation.
Hello, my name is Rob Pearce and I'm CEO of Wrays. Today I talk with Mike Lane, Chairman of REMSAFE, part of the Orbital Group based in Perth, Australia. Mike is actually the inventor of the REMSAFE Remote Isolation System developed back in 2009. He's also an electrician and holds a business management degree. Over a 30-year career in electrical power distribution and process control on fixed plant for the petroleum and mining industries, Mike has worked with BHP, Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals. Prior to bringing REMSAFE to Orbital, he was CEO at ICM Engineering Group. Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Rob.
Mike, tell us about the remote isolation system and the journey you've been on, starting with ICM Engineering Group right through to Orbital.
Well, sure. The journey really started around 25 years ago. That was way back when I was working for BHP Iron Ore in the Pilbara. And I had a team of electricians and technicians that were very capable personnel that would specialise in troubleshooting, getting the plant up and running quickly.
Yep.
But unfortunately, a lot of their time was spent having to isolate this fixed plant mining equipment, such as conveyors, your stackers, reclaimers, etc. Because it's a task of an electrician to operate these isolators, high voltage and low voltage. So they were standing in the line of fire a lot of the time, where you could have this potential for arc flash. An arc flash is an event where the switchgear can explode. It's a release of energy, happens in a few seconds. You have temperatures that exceed 20,000 degrees Celsius, and it's essentially where the copper, the main current-carrying conductors in the switchboard, expands around 60,000 times its volume.
Wow, so a real concern in safety terms, not just financial terms for the big mining firms.
Exactly, and subjecting your personnel to this potential risk. Not only that, it was quite a loss of productive hours that you could have because of the manual isolation process. And also, we had these highly trained personnel that were throwing isolators when they were meant for bigger and better things. So over the years, I just collected a lot of information, kept in touch with people that had similar interests, and it was around 2009 that we started to get a bit more traction in industry with people looking at better ways to isolate for production purposes. And sure, safety was definitely on the agenda, but they were looking for a system that sped up the isolation process and ticked all the safety boxes. So we partnered with Rocker Automation initially, who came on board with an excellent safety control system platform, brought together a few experts to make up a team that enabled us to learn about functional safety principles, what standards we should be using, and how to combine them to come up with a system that would achieve the highest level of safety. And we built a prototype system, a proof of concept. I remember it clearly. It was an electrical cabinet on a frame with wheels. It looked like a fridge trolley, essentially, with with a cabinet on it. It was very rough and ready, but it served the purpose. And I used to wheel this thing up and down St George's Terrace, in and out of elevators.
Getting some strange looks along the way, no doubt.
Very much. I'd roll up at reception and they would be looking where they had to sign to receive this delivery. But it was for lunch and learn sessions, and collected quite a large list of what people wanted to see in an isolation system, comparing it against existing systems, what they lacked and what they did well, to have something that would wholly satisfy and be fit for purpose for industry requirements.
So bringing that innovation to the market kind of gathered pace in 2009 when you started partnering with the likes of BHP.
Yeah, that's correct. BHP, Rio Tinto and FMG were all roughly landing about the same time. The price of ore, the sale was quite high. There's a lot of demand on throughput and resources on site to deliver the outcomes with recovering from faults, and a lot of these faults required isolation to be done. So definitely their assets were being worked to an absolute maximum, and the downtime that they were receiving was intolerable. They really had to get this plant up and running fairly quickly. With BHP in particular, they were quite keen to put a system in their plant at Nelson Point for an under-harbour tunnel conveyor. So it conveyed ore from Nelson Point, the mainland, to a stockpile area on the island.
So a critical part of their infrastructure for that part of the world.
Absolutely. And we were one of 3 people that submitted a proposal. The other 2 systems were basically a key exchange system, but we were bandying around this concept of remote isolation. We put a concept together and proposed it, and they said, yes, go ahead. And we thought, oh, geez, we've got to go and make this thing work now. And the challenge really started then. But BHP were absolutely fantastic. They came on board, sent a team of their design engineers around. We did a risk assessment on it. Normally they would take half a day. This went for 9 days.
Wow. How big was your team at the time?
We had 5 personnel.
Okay.
So mainly design guys, electrical, mechanical, with some functional safety engineering qualifications.
So the fact that they committed 9 days worth of time to this highlighted that it probably was rather innovative and important to them.
Yeah, absolutely. They saw it as an essential part of their business going forward. And it was largely a scoping exercise, and it was quite a leap forward into the future for us. So they're very generous, helping us with ideas, telling us exactly what they wanted. It was quite an eye-opener for me.
You've also developed the product with Fortescue Metals and with Rio Tinto as well. Tell us about your involvement with those firms.
Yeah, that's right, Rob. I mean, those companies in their own right are very innovative, and they have their own ideas of how they want things to be. And they also brought us in close to what they wanted.
It's very, very interesting to hear you say that the mining firms are very innovative, because I think sometimes they're thought of as not necessarily innovative because they're just digging stuff out of the ground.
Yeah, that's true. And crushing it, and sizing it, and then shipping it, essentially. But there's quite a lot that goes on in the background to make it look that simple. And when you're talking about the large volume of material that they move in that space of time, it doesn't just happen. There's a lot of metrics going in the background, contingencies, to get into the inner workings of what they do. If anyone has the opportunity, they'll surely be impressed. They're very good. And they're always looking for new and better ways to do things. And where safety complements productivity, it's a really good match. So with Rio Tinto, they challenged us to come up with some ideas to make the system more adaptive for their requirements. They've been terrific. We keep in touch with them on a regular basis. Same with FMG. It's a situation like, hey, we've got this problem. How can you help us? Let's sit down together and work it out. And it's really a great way to go.
And that continues today?
Absolutely. Yep. The relationship is close with these companies, and they want a solution as much as we want to provide them with one.
And that in itself is quite innovative, being so close to 3 competitors out there in the market, but trying to satisfy their needs. Yeah,
I mean, it's an interesting arrangement where you have your background IP that you bring to the client that we own and have developed over time. But they're open and mature enough to appreciate that whatever project IP that's created on their work is ours to use wherever we want, however we want, knowing that eventually we'll come back around to them.
Yes.
And step it up again. So we're sharing that information. And after all, it is a safety system. And why not make it better for everybody?
Yeah, that's quite a good collegiate attitude to have. So you've talked to us about the start of REMSAFE, and you've spoken to us about how that initial innovation gathered pace with talking to the big miners. When you started to look for a partner to take this to the next level, how did you end up with Orbital?
Okay. Well, I've always been told that if you're going to go for something, go at it hard and do it properly. So if you're going to hit the ball, hit it out of the stadium. And who doesn't know Orbital in Western Australia and Australia? And because the challenge was to find a partner that embraced innovation, that was keen to grow and develop in the mining sector that would support this product to the various levels of development to mature those particular variations that we were offering with the product. And not only that, focusing on a sales pipeline, but an innovation and product development pipeline. And we offer some fantastic solutions to industry that we've really only just got started on.
Just walking into the office earlier, I was interested to see the sign, "Step into Innovation." So Orbital certainly lives and breathes that.
They do. That's probably a good way of putting it. You know, when they came up with that strapline, it was, I think, one of the first, and they thought, why go any further? We found it,
Yeah, well, it certainly seems to work. You mentioned about the sales channel being important, but also the testing. So we're in a suite of various testing laboratories here. Has Orbital's global network assisted in you moving outside of Western Australia?
Most definitely, particularly internationally. So now we've got opportunities and projects occurring South Africa, North and South America, and having the experience or the scar tissue, if you like, of having been there and done that, it fills me with confidence. It's not as if I need to blaze a new trail. There's elders in the business that can tell you, hey, we've been there, done that, maybe you should try this or do this as well.
Excellent. So having been through the merger and acquisition process, what lessons do you think you've really learned? Did it go well? Would you have done anything differently? Could it have been done faster? Was it the right pace?
I think the pace was just right. I don't know how it would work with anybody else. I have to say that, and I was forewarned, things don't happen as quick as you probably would like them to, but map it out. Have a roadmap and agree on it and hit those targets, and certainly get some support to represent you legally. So you're dealing with a large company, you need to have legal support to help you, not only with what you know, and especially from a patent point of view, it's your property, you're handing that over, but it's also your contract of employment, what you're expected to do. And I was fortunate enough to have some good support in that regard. But definitely allow more time than what you think it should be. Be patient, have milestones that both parties agree on, and do your very best to hit those on time.
At Wrays, when we're trying to establish a new project or bring somebody on board, we often say it's a quick no but a slow yes. And that time enables you to get comfortable with that person. So I like the idea of the roadmap and you both making sure you achieve those targets along the way.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, a lot of it's to do with the people you're going to be working with. Make the time to get to know them. Come in under circumstances where it's not necessarily always about business. Just get to know them, understand how they work, what their aspirations for the business are, and just ensure that they're aligned. And I've got to say too, there's quite a lot of emotional attachment. You've formed up a business, an idea. It's like you're handing your baby over. But, you just got to be robust enough to know that, look, this is business. And this is a decision that has to be made for these reasons, not to get too emotionally involved. And let the experts step in when they need to and listen.
It's obviously worked out for you because 2.5, 3 years later, you're obviously still here. You're still growing the business under Orbital's reign. Once you had joined, how did you and Orbital plan to grow the business from there on?
Yeah, so we've put together a very comprehensive business plan. I've never seen anything like it.
Really?
It was an eye-opener for me, but what I loved about it was so practical. It wasn't pages and pages and pages of text that no one would read. It was quite a nice flow process, the flow chart, explaining the different milestones and horizons that we had to achieve. That in itself was really worthwhile, and it built momentum. And it was something that was easy to share and articulate amongst all the employees as well.
The growth of the business since you've joined Orbital, is plain to see in the certainly the sales proportion it's contributing to the wider business is growing. You've already touched on some global expansion. How aggressive are your growth plans for REMSAFE?
We do have a rapid growth plan, and I touched earlier on our product pipeline. We've got products sitting there that are partially developed that we don't think industry is ready for another 5 years or so.
Really?
But yeah, of what it can do is incredible. But we've just released our mobile field isolation station. That in itself will reduce the cost of our systems that we were previously offering around 30%. And in fact, from the initial proof of concept, we're down around 25-30% of cost of.
So that's not a reduction of 25%, that's a reduction of 75%.
That's correct.
Wow. So from the prototype, you talked about wheeling down St George's Terrace that looked like a big fridge.
Yes.
You're now down to a mobile unit that you can carry around with you.
Well, basically put in my pocket.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the next iteration. And we're certainly maximising all the options available to us with the various communication platforms out there as well.
So that's a hugely innovative process to alter the product from a fridge size down to, into your pocket in 15 years. That was done in conjunction with the big mining firms?
Yes, most definitely. We were being told that, look, it's got to get smaller, got to cost less, it's got to be able to do this or that, the other. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a significant investment to get these products developed. We've had a fair bit of help along the way from our premium clients and also from the federal government with the grants that were available. They've been absolutely terrific, helping us with the matching the funds 50-50, professional advice, people that they will call in to help us with particular aspects where we hit a roadblock. I can't speak highly enough of that process.
It's excellent because often government and local government gets a bad rap, so it's exciting to hear that they're doing something right. Yeah,
well, I know on our marketing schedule we have a launch of now what we call our Generation 5 system. That'll be coming up in a few months. So the various parliamentary representatives that were associated with this grant and the assistance that we receive from innovators will hopefully be involved in that.
You've spoken obviously about the mining uses at the moment. Is there a use outside of mining for the product?
Most definitely. So the system is now adapted to operate in the rail industry, especially with this portable field isolation station. So you can go out to a rail link and you can put an isolation in place where you've isolated the overhead power lines, you've occupied the track, and you've operated track switches or turnouts that they call them in a particular configuration to make the job safe. So no rolling stock is going to come onto that track while you're working on it. Your track is shorted, saying that you can't put rolling stock down there, and there's no power overhead. So all of those can combine into the one system. That would traditionally take 1 to 2 hours to isolate, so we've got that down to around 25 seconds.
Incredible. And that's in live application at the moment, is it?
That's in concept. We're just waiting for a client to say, yep, let's go ahead and put a trial in.
And again, plenty of global opportunities to deploy the product.
Yeah, most interest is coming out of Europe at the moment.
Oh, okay. Innovation is obviously core to everything that you're doing here at Orbital and REMSAFE. Are you able to tell us about any new projects you might be working on?
Yes, Rob, sure. First of all, innovation is at the core of Orbital and REMSAFE. It's in their DNA. And we have a very disciplined and structured approach to developing the products that we have and over the horizon look over for what industry may be calling for. So we like to be there ready for when the opportunity does land. So we do meet on a monthly basis, and the discipline that we apply to our innovation approach is the same as what we would for our financial accounting.
Really, that's very encouraging to hear and sounds incredibly disciplined. So you as an innovation team meet in a structured way to record the new found innovations.
Oh, most definitely. The team's headed up by an embedded resource from Wrays, and they drive it. They have some assistance here with the agenda, the follow-up items. I guess that's the big thing, holding people accountable to follow up on what they've been allocated to do. So you don't dare come to this meeting without being prepared and done your homework.
That's really, really interesting. So are you able to let us in on any secrets or anything that's about to hit the market?
No secrets. I can't tell you them yet.
Okay.
But yes, some exciting news. We've just released our Generation 5 system. It's produced at a fraction of the cost of the initial proof of concept. It's really quick to install, safe, and the industry feedback is just outstanding, very supportive. That is complemented by the mobile field isolation station. That's a game changer.
Really?
Absolutely. And it feeds across to a lot more different types of isolations and tasks that can be done under that isolation. So where remote isolation systems are traditionally used for automating electrical isolators, we're now including mechanical isolators as well. So quite a move forward into processing and other areas of productivity like wash plants, etc.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Mike, I've really enjoyed talking to you this afternoon. Thank you very much. It's exciting to see a West Australian firm really at the forefront of innovation, and I wish REMSAFE and Orbital all the success in the future. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rob. Absolute pleasure.
Thanks for joining us today for the Wrays Innovator Series. If you would like to know more about today's topic, please email us wrays@wrays.com.au.